What's up guys, in this exciting video I wanted to share a strategy that can help you get to $10,000 in sales with Google Shopping, and it doesn't really matter if you made any sales so far, whether you use Facebook ads or whether you're just starting. I thought that I share this little strategy that can help you really get this critical point of 10,000 in sales that many people struggle with. Now the idea for the strategy came when I built a new section for my AdWords course where I take a client's campaign. So I take a real client, I build his campaigns, and I document the whole journey live and update it in the course. So every week I post a new live update with the changes I made, with the results. And doing this, I actually got the idea for this video here. So make sure that you watch it till the end to really learn how you can bring your first shopping campaign to 10,000 in sales. And I hope that you get a ton of value out of this. Let's get started. Alright guys, so as I said, let's get started, and I'm showing you how to go from scratch to $10,000 with shopping. And I want to bring it to you in a step-by-step format, so I'm not in my AdWords dashboard right now. I'm actually showing it in this presentation where I can show you the different steps and really what I mean with them. And the first step, the first thing that you need to do, of course, is select your products. And in order to select your product, I have a few very important tips. And the first one is that you always need to find the quantity sweet spot. So I see this a lot, that people either choose too few products, which means they're basically gambling that one of their products works. For example, if you just put in like 2 or 3 products in your shopping campaign. Now this is gambling, and this most likely won't get you a winner simply because your chances of finding one are too low. At the same time, if you use too many, your campaigns are basically diluting, or your budget is basically diluting, because think about it, if you have $10 a day to spend and you test 50 products at a time, many different products will get like 2 clicks, another one will get 3 clicks, a lot of products won't get any clicks, and it's getting super difficult. So one of the most important parts of testing your products with shopping and AdWords in general is finding the right sweet spot. And normally this is, from my experience, between like 5 and 15 products. So 10 is actually a very good number, and it depends on your budget. So if you have a daily budget of, for example, $50, then you can easily test like 20 or 30 products or something. But if your budget is low, like $5 or $10, you should definitely consider basically testing like 10 products at absolute max. And of course, there's also something else to it, and I recommend that you should sell products or test products that cost at least $30, so that you sell for at least $30. Why is that? Well, because normally you can end up paying quite a lot on shopping for a click. And if you pay, for example, 60 or 70 cents for a click, it is very hard to be profitable with a $20 product. So I recommend that you stick in this quantity sweet spot of 5 to 15 products, and then you only pick products that cost at least $30 to buy. So doing that and choosing these products that fit into this category will give you a good head start when it comes to starting your shopping campaign. Now the second step is actually that you should start with low bids and then work yourself up. So the reason why we do that, the reason why it makes sense to start with low bids, is that in the beginning you don't care really about the volume of the clicks that you get. So you don't need 10,000 clicks from start, right? You don't need to have 10,000 clicks in the beginning. In the beginning it just matters that you spend your budget. And if your daily budget is only $10, you can easily get enough clicks for this budget if you, for example, bid like 50 cents. Now, of course, the click prices that you pay in the end depend on your competition and your niche, but I would say for many industries and niches out there, it is okay if you bid 50 cents at a $10 per day budget. You will definitely be able to spend all these $10 per day with this lower bid. And then if your bids are too high, or you spend more than if your bids are too high, or you spend more than you need to. So let's say you have a $1 bid, probably you get like 90-cent clicks. And the reason is that AdWords is basically putting you in a higher position, in a higher tier of auction. And if you only get these very cheap clicks, you can basically use your budget much more effectively. And the only time when you really scale and the only time when you really increase your bid is when you want to scale, or when you're not getting any impressions. So if your impressions are super low and you just get like 30 impressions per day or something, then you can scale, then you can increase your bid and test whether this works. Or of course, if you want to scale, because at some point, for example, let's say you want to spend $100 a day, you won't be able to get 30 cents clicks at scale. At some point you have to increase your bids so that you also get into this higher range of bids. But in the beginning, like I said, start with low bids, work yourself up, and this is how you can get a successful shopping campaign to test your products. The next thing is that you should adjust bids to reflect your price. And what I mean with that is when you sell, for example, $100 products, bid more than you would on a $30 product, because this way you can basically imply that this other product is more expensive, your margin is higher, you will make more money on a customer, so you're also ready to spend more. I see this all over the place, that people put all their products in one simple shopping campaign. They have 30 products, they have the same bids for every product, they have the same adjustments for so they have no adjustments for these individual products. So you should really do that, and you should really assign bids according to the price of the individual product for maximum success. And another strategy that you may want to test is the one product per campaign test. So of course, you can just put all of your products in one campaign and do some minor adjustments here. But the thing is that very often when you test products with shopping, there are some products that perform very well or that get a lot of impressions and clicks, and other products don't get any. And the reason is that they are like outperforming each other and they are pushing them back, and some products don't get any impressions anyway. So what you should do here is, or what you can consider doing here is, that you really create one campaign, that you create campaigns with only one product in each campaign, and that way you can, for example, assign a very low daily budget of, for example, $2 or $3 per campaign, and then you can see which of these work well. So do you have campaigns that do not spend anything? You can try to increase the bid for these products and then go ahead. But that way you can really cancel some of these campaigns when you realize that they don't bring any value, and at the same time you will see if you get impressions for all your products, because if every single product has its own campaign, you have full control over all the settings, over all optimization, over all adjustments, over anything. So doing that, you can really test every single product most effectively. So when we talk about testing, of course, we also have to define some goals, like what should you look at, what is important, what kind of metrics should you wait for, and of course, the most important metric here is sales. So if you get sales, if a product brings in sales, obviously it means that the product was successful, and you shouldn't really look at anything else as long as the sales volume is good. But very often it takes a lot of time to get the first sale. So another thing that you should look at is ATC, so add to cart, which is very important as well. And the last thing, and this is very interesting, is session duration. I've talked about this in another video here on this channel as well. And if you link Google Analytics with Google AdWords, you can basically see how long people from your Google AdWords ads stayed on your website. So you can see, okay, this person came from this shopping ad, they went over to my website, they stayed there for 2 minutes, and then they left. And if someone stays on your website for 2 minutes without buying anything, of course this isn't ideal, but it shows you that this person was interested and that you somehow got the right person to the right page. Now, if you have 10 different shopping campaigns with 10 different products, and in 8 of these campaigns people just spent like 3 seconds on your site, you can tell that you're doing something wrong, that you either have to change your landing page, or that you have to completely change your shopping feed because maybe there is some kind of mistake there, or that you just have to pause the test and do something else. So basically the way I built this pyramid here is that the one at the bottom is the easiest to get, because you will always get information on session duration. Add to carts are a little harder to get, of course, and sales are the hardest. So you should basically build yourself up from the ground, and keep in mind that the second and the top level are most important. So if you get sales but very low session duration, keep going. But if you get very, very long session durations and no sales yet, you may think about continuing with this campaign. So keep these different goals in mind. It's not always just about getting the sale. Of course, this is ideal, but don't necessarily stop a campaign just because you didn't get some immediate sales. So once you did this test, you get some certain test results. For example, what is very common is that product A gets all the clicks or all the add to carts, all the sales, or at least a large amount of them. Then you have another product B that gets a lot of clicks, sales, whatever, and then you have the rest. And let's say that 8 different products share only like 20% of all your results. So what you do then is you optimize, and this is step 3, so that you, for example, only have 4 different products. One product A that is doing half the clicks, sales, ATCs, whatever. One product B that is doing quarter, product C, product D for the rest. So it's not that you should always keep it in that ratio, but normally after optimizing, you don't work with like 10, 15 different products anymore, but you really stick to a handful. So here in this presentation, I came up with 4. It is also not uncommon to at some point only test like 2 or 3 products, sometimes even just 1. So once you do this test and you get some data on sessions, ATCs, purchases and stuff, you can narrow it down to these amount of products that work best. And from there, you have the highest chance of actually finding a winner and finding products that sell on a continuous basis. So of course, this isn't the final step. Maybe at some point you realize that product B is working the best after you get more statistically significant stats. And then you really scale it while you scale or while you reduce the spend for product A. But at some point, you should really narrow your whole reach down to these few products and not continuously work with like 10 to 15 products all the time, because this is not the most effective way to spend your budget after testing. In step 4, of course, you want to scale, and scale doesn't mean like $1,000 a day yet. It just means that you increase your budget regularly, and you want to spend more and more and get more sales and clicks and stuff. So first of all, what you should ask yourself is, am I spending my daily budget? And if you aren't spending your daily budget, how you scale is basically by increasing it. Sounds pretty simple. If you spend $10 a day right now, and you are basically not spending when you're spending $10 right now and you're spending it consistently, what you should do is you should raise your daily budget to, for example, $20 and see whether you can spend it at this amount as well. If you are not spending it, and here, by the way, these things are exchange, unfortunately, so sorry for that one here, but if you're not spending your daily budget all the time, you should increase your bids or optimize your shopping feed, because if your daily budget is $10 and you're only spending $6 a day, it means that either the search volume for your product and your keywords is very low, which normally is not the case if you have a common product, or that your bids are too low, that your shopping feed is not optimized. So if you have a $10 budget per day and you are not spending it consistently, think about increasing your bids and think about optimizing your shopping feed. So keep in mind that this one here is misplaced. That should be at the bottom, and yes should be on top. So this is very important. And of course, you should see if you see some device winners already. So if you see that all of your conversions come from desktop, or that desktop has a way higher conversion rate, or that the CPA on desktop is way lower, and again, I would look at Google Analytics here for even more insights, you should use device bid adjustments. So if desktop worked that much better for you, of course it makes sense to get all the desktop traffic to your ad, and that you really use a bid adjustment where you say, okay, desktops, I want to bid $1.50 instead of $1, because at some point when you realize that one device is doing much better than the others, you want to reduce your spend on the ones that are not working and really increase your spend at those that work. And you can do that, for example, by really using this bid adjustments, or at some point, if you want, if you see a very clear winner here, you can even go ahead and create a campaign where you only target this specific device. But I would only do this if there's a large difference between desktop and mobile, for example. If it's like 3% on desktop and 2.5% on mobile, this is normally not that useful. But very often, at some point in time, you see a clear difference here. And this is the 4th step, scaling. Actually very simple here. Of course, there's much more to it, but it's not, I couldn't put it all in this single video. Of course, if you want to learn more about that, you can also have a look at other videos and my course and all these kind of things. But that's for scaling step 4. And then step 5, very simple. You can switch to target return on ad spend, because on shopping, normally what you do is either like maximize clicks or manual CPC. And if you have enough conversions, so around 20 to 30 in the last 30 days, you can switch to target return on ad spend as a campaign objective to be even more profitable and potentially also make more sales. Because if you are on a good level already with your campaign, you can then switch to target ROAS, and this tells AdWords that you want to get, for example, 3x of what you spend or 4x of what you spend, and AdWords really tries to find the right people, but this is only possible if you have enough data. So this is why I put it on step 5. You should do it after you did all the other optimization yourself, and once you did that, then you will see that extra performance. Probably you perform 10% better, 20% better, sometimes even more than that. Sometimes you can make like 30 to 40% more sales or cheaper sales by switching. But like I said, keep in mind that you should only do that once you really hit that data. So guys, these were the 5 steps to go with a shopping campaign from scratch and hit around $10,000. Now, why this number? Well, it sounds a little made up, but this is actually a very, very common goal that many people achieved using these strategies. And currently, like I said, in my course, I'm taking a client's campaign and I'm actually showing live what I do to this campaign, and I'm showing everything, like what kind of steps I take, what are the results, and I plan to hit that goal with these strategies and of course more details and more other methods quite soon. So guys, if you like this video, please leave a like, please leave a comment. If you have any questions, please let me know if you tried Google Shopping so far. Post it in the comments as well. And if you want to learn more, like I said, check my other videos on AdWords, check my course if you really want to master this traffic source and get more sales to your store. I hope that you like this video, I hope that you subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, guys.